I think it's pretty much common knowledge at this point in time that 2023 has been without a doubt the absolute worst year for Disney, not just because of the Disney stock hitting a decade low, but we can't forget about different aspects of merchandise, especially with Star Wars hitting a very big low point, as well as a lot of firings on the horizon and Disney Plus rate hikes coming in as well, leading into 2024, along with the Disney Purge, and all because of Bob Iger's cost containment plan wreaking havoc over at the company. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, the whole concept of DEI, which by the way I've pointed out several times, is heavily hypocritical and flawed, and is 100% backed up by some of the top shareholders over at Disney, such as BlackRock and Vanguard and State Street. They all support this nonsense that has actually spewed into the entertainment field within Disney. Now, one thing about Jenna Ortega, we talked about this ongoing development about her conversations with Disney and her overall locked-in roles with the actual roles that Rachel Zegler had lost when she was fired by Disney after the whole Snow White controversy. This has a lot to do with how Jenna Ortega literally lost Disney billions of dollars, and we're going to be going over exactly what kind of turn of events actually transpire behind closed doors between herself, the Disney bigwigs, and even her team, such as her agent and manager, and things are getting ugly for Disney, let's just say that. Now, let's get into the specifics. Now, specifically on top of all of this, given that what Disney currently is in a very delicate position due to their push with DEI and ESG in their fields of entertainment, one major development has to do with actress Jenna Ortega, where she recently cost Disney roughly billions in expected revenue due to her recent and crucial development. Now, for weeks now, Jenna has been in ongoing negotiations for her roles and those affiliated with Disney that were previously locked in for Rachel Zegler. As it turns out, Jenna Ortega was in near full agreements with Disney to appear in several Pirates of the Caribbean reboot projects. This included 3 planned movies, the main films, and several spin-off films, and TV shows for Disney Plus in the future planned, as Disney wants to make this as big as Star Wars and Marvel. Even in the early phase of these projects, with Jenna Ortega, along with her involvement in other animated material and live-action films, they were expected to garner $1 billion at the box office each, give or take. However, in a shocking turn of events, Jenna recently finalized her deal through her team, such as her agent and manager, as she officially turned down all the roles except for one of the Pirates of the Caribbean reboot movies, which will be, of course, one standing that will be the one written and created by The Last of Us showrunner. However, it doesn't stop there. She also walked out on a locked-in role she was provided by Disney that they needed Jenna to make this film successful. This was said to be a new franchise called World of Witches, which would start off as 3 movies and was expected to at least garner $1 billion at the box office worldwide, and was expected to be a game changer by the Disney board and executives. Now guys, let me just say one thing about this. Now, we touched on Disney's World of Witches a couple of months ago. You guys may or may not have heard about that ongoing development. It was supposed to be kind of like Johnny Depp's version of Pirates of the Caribbean, except all about witches. They wanted to make this a high-budget series of films that would star Jenna Ortega. They felt that Ortega was the right fit and the only fit to make these movies work. And well, let's just say there's a reason why these movies are now getting shelved, because of Jenna walking out on this major multi-film deal that was easily going to grant her tons of money. And, you know, Jenna Ortega, we know that she's trying not to get typecast as being placed in horror films. She's trying to shift away, you know, quite rapidly, quite frankly, from movies like Scream and Beetlejuice and Wednesday. She wants to shift away from the horror elements and wants to focus more on fantasy-driven projects, and animated as well. Now, this is where things get interesting, because we're not done yet. However, on top of all of that, with Jenna Ortega walking away from the main role of those World of Witches films, This essentially forced Disney to cancel and axe all of those movies that were just about to be announced by this November, right around the last earnings call during the first week of that month, and was also going to garner billions at the box office projected by Disney according to their analysts, as they were planning to dial down on their woke agendas in these movies in order to get Jenna to agree to come on board and to get more fans in the theaters. Even though Disney was reportedly taking a step back with their agendas solely to garner more revenue at the box office to make these films lift with the box office records, Jenna walked away anyway, which essentially sent Disney into a phase of sabotage, as they had to axe those projects in early development. Even concept art by creators and artists for World of Witches was already in the planning stages, just before pre-production was going to begin by this December. She also walked away from an animated film, codenamed Dream. You guys may recall we talked about that weeks ago, which Disney planned to make it as successful as Frozen. This project now too is getting shelved ahead of its planned announcement in November due to Jenna walking out, once again losing them the opportunity of garnering billions. Disney reportedly needed Jenna for multiple roles just to make these movies altogether successful, as she reached the right demographic with the correct acting skills at the same time. With Jenna focusing on Beetlejuice 2 now, she is still locked in, however, for one Pirates movie and 2 other untitled singular films by Disney, drastically cutting back on her involvement with the company. And rightfully so, mind you. Now, here's the thing about Disney. It sounds like they're trying way too hard. Alright, we already know that they are trying to double down on their live-action remakes. They can never create anything new. I think that we can all agree on this, that remaking or rebooting already established live-action remakes of animated material is just lazy writing, lazy creating by Disney and anyone who else is involved. We know that they have full plans, as we speak, to actually reboot already established live-action material like Beauty and the Beast, Alice in Wonderland 2010, Cinderella 2015, the list goes on. And on top of that, new titles entering into live-action form like Sword in the Stone, Lilo and Stitch, as well as Hercules, just for starters. They're going all out, and they want to double down on ESG and DEI and really gender swapping and race swapping and all that horrible stuff that just goes nowhere and supports nothing. Disney is fully doubling down on all of that without a care in the world. Now, I think it's very desperate on their end, the fact that they were willing to back off on their woke agenda with World of Witches just to get Jenna to agree to move forward with those projects, and even though they dialed back and agreed to do so, she decided to just say, yeah, no, I'm not moving forward with that. I'm not getting involved in that, because she doesn't want to be typecast in more horror-driven projects. She had a full change of heart, most likely. We know that she's trying to shift away from that aspect. And so, that really led Disney and forced them to go into this downward spiral of axing several projects that were just about to be announced on November 9th during the earnings call, the last one, mind you, for 2023, before they go into the 2024 year. And it goes to show you that this is not good for Bob Iger. So anyway, guys, drop a comment below. Fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.